Ciao Juventini of the world, my name is Giuseppe, welcome back on the channel. I hope you're all doing well. I admit immediately I am in a rush. Why? Because later, after recording that video, I will go to my kids under 9 that are playing a real game, an important one, and I'm happy because I will again smell the grass, a place where I love to be, playing real football, or at least watching, coaching real football. But anyway, I really wanted to record that video for two things. Giuntoli. Big interview on La Repubblica. I spoke about the Pogba, about Allegri, about the future of Juventus, change in mentality, attenzione, important words, but also the truth about that Lukaku-Dusan Vlahovic swap, especially because I was watching online the translation, the reports of La Repubblica, and there was one crucial sentence that nobody reported, and I really wanted to clarify that one. And also, introducing Matchday 7, because not only Atalanta-Juve is important, but also other games that will tell us a lot. After today's Saturday, we will know how much Atalanta-Juve of tomorrow will have the impact on Serie A. So maximum of like if you didn't yet, continue to subscribe, because we go now. With Gazzetta dello Sport, mi gioco la testa. I'm playing the head of Serie A, Inter Thuram. Olivier Giroud for Milan. By the way, happy birthday to Giroud that is celebrating 37 years old. Underrated player? Probably. Let me know your opinion about a player that is non-Juve, about Olivier Giroud. What is your take on Giroud? Great player, phenomenal, good player, not good player? I'm curious to read your comments when I will go back. By the way, no live press conference today because I will not be there, but probably a second video when I will be back to check what the words of Max Allegri were in press conference. But they are indeed playing the head of Serie A because both of them will play today, Inter this evening, this night actually, Milan this evening, and Napoli a bit before. Don't forget Napoli. Three teams that have total different stories. Salernitana against Inter. We could go easily with 3 points for Inter, but pay attention for Ochoa, that in some games is really a cat, saving everything. Can he save the door today? Let's see. Milan-Lazio, big game of Matchday 7 that we are all waiting for. We are curious to know the two diverse philosophies. A Milan that is back after that big loss against Inter, and then you have the philosophy Lazio with Sarri that needs to continue to show what he's able to do. A Lazio that didn't start well, actually they start in a dramatic way, but there is Luis Alberto about to extend until 2028 that probably will have to show, he wants to show also versus a big team like the team of Pioli, that he's the one that deserved that contract. Lecce-Napoli, well, can Lecce be again that surprise of the start of the tournament after losing against Juve, or will they continue to lose now that they lost their very first game? Well, 3 games that will tell us before Atalanta-Juve of tomorrow what mental state Juventus will go into that game, because we know it, if the 3 teams are winning, Inter, Milan and Napoli, Juventus will have a crucial game tomorrow, where they will nearly feel that stress of obligation to win, because Napoli will be over Juve. So it's an important game. On the other side, if the 3 of them lose, which will not happen anyway, Juventus will have again an occasion to go first in that Serie A, and will they again, like they did against Sassuolo, totally flop? So 3 games that it's important to follow, especially because they are played before Juve, Atalanta. Tutto Sport is going with Pioli. Pioli is saying, you know what, Juventus is the favorite for the Scudetto. They don't play the European competition, so they have a huge benefit. Well, Pioli, I understand that you are shifting pressure. You are playing a bit the game like Max Allegri that is saying our only objective, or only, that's not true. Our objective, our main objective is to enter top 4. Well, Pioli is playing that game. Looks like all the teams of Serie A are saying, no, you know what? No, we don't want to. It's the other one that is the favorite. But if you are looking at the statistics, the facts, if you are looking at the era of the 3 points in Serie A that were introduced in 94-95, well, only twice a team that was not participating to European competition were able to win Serie A. 98-99 for Milan, and then 2011-2012 for the team of Antonio Conte, Juventus. Yes, you will tell me, Beppe, but it's a fake stat, it's not correct stat, because actually last year we were not out of top 4, we were 3rd, and some people will even say we could have been 2nd last year. So it's a team that is ready to compete to the Scudetto. We are obliged to win the Scudetto. No excuses, you will tell me. And then I will tell you, probably you are also right. It's not 100% correct table if we are looking at the history of last season. On the other side, I want to add also another thing before speaking about Giuntoli. Do you remember that entering Champions League, especially Champions League, how many money you receive to do the mercato. Look at Pioli that is saying, no, but they are the favorite. Maybe he's omitting the fact that thanks to the fact that Juventus was taken out of Champions League, he's participating and he earned a lot of money to do mercato. Reinders, Chukwueze, Pulisic, and all the players that they signed there in their midfield. So attenzione, I would not go too fast on that. But it's true, Corriere dello Sport is saying, Juventus, you are in a run for the Scudetto. With 13 points made, you are in statistically a team that can compete for the Scudetto. Well, I tell you, Atalanta, Torino, Milan will tell us a bit more. Before speaking about Mercato, like I see today, Thuram, Samarsic, maybe Sule coming back, Berardi. I think that these three games will tell us a bit more, especially the game against Atalanta, that probably, if you're looking at the history, the total stats, you see absolutely a big advantage for Juve. But if you're looking at the Gasperini era in the game that we played against him, well, Gasperini won twice against Juventus in 14 games. We drew 8 times on 14, and 4 times he lost against Juventus. So Juventus 4 wins, 8 draws, and 2 times we lost against Atalanta. So pay attention, because Gasperini, he knows perfectly well with what aggressivity he has to play against Juve to at least take a draw. So is it an easy game? Absolutely not. And we will need to score against Atalanta, a team that is not conceding a lot. Because if you are looking at their 6th game of the season, 5 in Serie A, 7 games of the season, 6 in Serie A, and 1 in Europa League, where it's a team that for 5 times already they didn't concede any goals. 5 clean sheets for Atalanta, that usually we know it's a team that is conceding a bit more than average because they play that offensive football where it looks like they found a bit of stability. The good news, of course, is that Dusan Vlahovic is feeling much better and he will start together with Federico Chiesa tomorrow, at least according to the rumors. If I'm wrong, well, I will listen to it. I will hear it from Max Allegri in press conference later. Now we are here to enter the words on the interview of Cristiano Giuntoli today. The big title of Repubblica is Juve, lo spirito dei giovani per tornare in Champions. The spirit of the youth to go back in Champions League. Only working, that's the small title, only working together, united, we can bring the club back where it deserves. Allegri is la punta di diamanto, so the spearhead, the jewel of this team. We have to bring back the team at his level. Attenzione, important words. We'll come back on Allegri. So the first question was about Paul Pogba in that interview, an interview that before real question he spoke a bit about his Juventinità, about him being a Juventino since a kid. He spoke about the fact that he traveled to Amsterdam for that final of Champions League that we lost, unfortunately, against Real Madrid, but he remembered that in '98 that goal of Mihajlovic was offside. And I'm happy. I tell you the truth, I'm happy that finally also a big manager, chief of football, director of football, or whatever you want to call Giuntoli, is remembering these things that often are forgetting when we are speaking about Champions League counts. Only 2. Well, that goal of Mijatovic, 1-0 for Real Madrid, was offside. And Cristiano Giuntoli is expressing again, in the start of that interview, his Juventinità. He remembers, he's not forgetting. I love that. But what about Pogba? He said, well, we are waiting for the counter-analyzing and we will decide to do together what to do with the management. We will not feel sorry for ourselves, so we will not pity ourselves. We don't have Pogba, so no. Calma, tranquilli, and we will look forward. What about a replacement? Well, we will decide in Christmas. First of all, wait for the counter-analyze and then waiting for Christmas. If there are some opportunities, we will sign them. So is he excluding that we will go on the market because of financial problems? No. Let's look if there are opportunities. And he's not saying it literally, but probably also waiting for Christmas means the month of December. Do you remember? That's the first step where we want to do a real huge analyze. With Max Allegri that said in December, that will be the first step. We have to be in the top 4, close to the number 1, to the number 3, to the number 4, whatever. But we have to be there to then go with our second step by step. Well, if we have real opportunities in terms of ranking, but also on the mercato, probably we have the opportunity to go on the mercato. Then Giuntoli continues speaking about the guidelines of Juventus. We must continue to pursue sustainability, a word that you heard so many times when we spoke about Juventus. Well, he continues sustainability, cutting the overall salary and lower the average age to be self-sufficient. Important. He continues to say we have to decrease the age of the players. Does that mean that we will play with only a next gen team with only 18, 19, 20 years old players, but still continuing to be a bit more younger, to have that dynamism, that intensity, these runs? But attenzione, because we have to do some contract renewals with a lot of players to decrease the cost. He's not mentioning contract extension, but that's what we were mentioning the last few weeks. Do you remember? Szczesny, for example, and so on and so on. Winning is the most important thing. So vincere è la cosa più importante, and this is Juventus. We know it. We, Juventini, vincere è importante. That's our motto, our quote. And he's repeating it. Yes, winning is the most important thing, no doubt about that. But he's also adding the Juventus environment, so everyone must not only look at the result, but also at the performance. Attenzione. Attenzione, there is a shift, there is a change. And if you are here after 11 minutes, probably for the very first time, you hear a manager saying that the performance is also important. If we are 100% correct and truth, when we heard Scannavino before the start of the season, it was in August, in front of the microphones of Sky, Scannavino said, we will continue with Allegri, sustainability, ta-ta-ta-ta-ta, and we are also expecting better performances on the field. So now we have a Giuntoli that not only is repeating, but also confirming that it's important to play better. What is playing better? We can do a big philosophy on it. You can play better defending, you can play better attacking, but we have to be better. And that's actually what a lot of Juventini were complaining about. There is no identity at the moment in the last 2 years. It's difficult to understand what kind of game style we will play. So we will try to play better, to perform better. And I tell you the truth, even if not only we were consistent in showing it, I saw some intention to do it this year, which we start with, because if you don't have the intention, forget about it. If you have the intention, you can start building on it. Then he continued about the Scudetto dreams. You know, that's a big debate, controversial point. Well, let's think about the medium range, so not short term, but medium range, but let's not set any limits. He's repeating what he said. No, not top 4 and it's over. No limits. Depending how Serie A will go, why should we put limits? That means if we are top 4, we are top 4. And we have the opportunity to try to compete for a Scudetto, let's go. We are not satisfied with only top 4 if we are in that top 4. But of course, the program includes returning to the Champions League. Our declared objective, our declared goal. That means that it's vital, crucial, especially financially, attractivity, self-esteem. It's important to be in that competition. We know it. From there, we see. How many times did I repeat it? I don't know. But he's saying putting limits is for little people. Important. Juventus doesn't want to be little people. But it's true that Napoli, Inter, and Milan, they are ahead of us because their project started really earlier. Look at Inter. They already had a complete team that was able to play that final of Champions League. The other two, they were in semi-final of Champions League. Except of Napoli, the two other ones, they continue with the same coach. They changed with players of what they needed to reinforce their team, and they will continue with their project. Juventus is starting a new project, even if we have the same players, we have the same coach, but even with these people, we change our project, our philosophy. We want to go with another playing style. Attenzione. Cristiano Giuntoli also spoke about Allegri, and now you will be curious. He is the spearhead, la punta di diamante, of the club and the point of reference. We are the ones who should bring Juve to his level. He is a lone coach with all the weight on his shoulders. I have always protected my coach. What is he saying here? He's saying that Max Allegri is important for Juventus, that he is that spearhead, that punta di diamante, that he's the person that probably took too many responsibility on him, that he was the captain of a ship that at a certain moment was really shaking, that we have to respect him, that probably we need to raise the team to achieve the level, because you like it or you don't like it. If you're looking at the curriculum of Max Allegri, it's important. And here we'll say, Mamma mia, what is happening? Especially the Allegri out will say, we will extend the contract of Allegri for life. When will be out of the club? Attenzione, because there is a sentence that has not been reported where he said, Allegri è la punta di diamante, blah, 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 blah. I will read you the sentence because I translated it this morning because it was important. He said, Allegri is the spearhead of the club. He is our point of reference in this phase of transition. I repeat, in this phase of transition, not reported on social media. What does that mean? It first of all, that we are in a phase of transition. 1. 2, that Max Allegri is probably the best person on earth to manage a mix of unexperienced players, mix of players that has a bit more experience, but probably not that winning mentality at Juve. That is the one that was the best man to go from a difficult moment of Juventus to the next step. Phase of transition. He has 2 more years of contract. Will that phase of transition be 1 year and we will change next year? It could be. Will we continue 2 years with Allegri and change then after these 2 years? It could be. But just one thing, with all the respect for Max, with all the understanding and confirmation that he's next to him, that he's supporting him, attenzione, because we are in the transition phase, and after that transition phase, maybe we could go for another new project when everything has been stabilized. I know it takes a lot of time. I know that you want to go faster, but this is the reality and has been said by Giuntoli. And then he spoke about Berardi. He said Berardi is a good and capable player, but now it's time to think about ourselves and to know what our word is, what we are capable of. So yes, he dribbled a bit that demand about Berardi, and he finished about Lukaku Juve swap. We didn't want to sell Dusan, but it's true that this summer there was an offer by Chelsea for Vlahovic. But in front of a certain number, even if we didn't want to sell him, we would have accepted it. Chelsea, they never reached the number and the exchange didn't happen. So it's true, the voices that we were reading on Gazzetta dello Sport, Tutto Sport, Corriere dello Sport, that was the first one, and they were insisting, were true. There were talks, Chelsea, Juventus, for a swap Lukaku, Dusan Vlahovic. There was an offer for Dusan, but Juventus, as I told you, and probably the only thing that I liked in the Mercato 23-24 of Juve was the fact that Juventus, they want to break with the past. That if we have financial difficulties and if we have an offer after 1 week, 2 weeks, if we are not in the possibility to ask even more, well, we sell. We sell because of the salary mass that is too big, because we have pressure on the finances, and if we have to lose a bit of money, but we can sell a player, we do it. Now, no. We set a price, like for Zakaria, for example, we set a price, this is our price. You want him, here is the price. We can negotiate a bit, but not too much, otherwise he stay with us. And that has been said also by Giuntoli in his presentation conference, when he said, Dusan Vlahovic, Chiesa, we want them to stay at Juve. There is absolutely no problem with them. But if there is an exceptional crazy offer in the situation that we are in, we sit at the table, we listen to the words. Well, he said it. Yes, it's true. We didn't want to leave him, but the offer didn't arrive. What is it confirming as well? That the stories, the fake stories that Max Allegri wanted to sell Dusan Vlahovic at any cost because he only wanted Lukaku, he didn't believe in the Serbian player and so on, probably they have been a bit exaggerated. The club said it, we didn't want to sell him, but for a big, huge offer, probably we would have accepted. So really transparent Cristiano Giuntoli. I really liked the interview because he was, as he always was since he spoke and since he arrived at Juve, super transparent about his Juventinità, about the future, backing his coach, speaking about Mercato, because he did. So a lot of interesting points. Then, change of philosophy at Juve. Not only winning, yes, but also with performance. Well, ragazzi, if this is what we are working on, well, the next few years could be quite entertaining. but of course at cost of winning, because that's the most important thing. Ragazzi, long video. I didn't expect it to be so long. I hope you found it interesting. So Maximo Fly, continue to subscribe to the channel. Grazie, forza, Juve. Ciao, ciao ragazzi.